This is the ABQ Business Podcast with your host, Jason Rigby. Each week we'll interview visionary business leaders to inspire the creative power and spirit that's in every entrepreneur. Discussing strengths, weaknesses, strategies, systems, and the problems we can all solve together for a new future for local small business.
What's up, guys? Jason Rigby here, the ABQ Business Podcast. Super excited today. Austin, I know before I introduce you, I know you're in Los Angeles. Are they still got everything like locked down there?
Man, it is pretty much on lockdown, except for the beach. They opened up the beaches, and as soon as they said that, I mean, it just flooded. And I live at the beach. It's been a super quiet 2 months. As soon as they said that, there is a lot of people out there, more people than I've ever seen, which is exciting and cool.
What beach are you at near?
Venice Beach.
Oh, wow. So you're like in the perfect part. I mean, I was in Santa Monica because I had to go to Snapchat headquarters with the digital marketing program.
Yeah.
And it was funny to see. I didn't realize, because I hadn't been there a while, how many homeless people there were.
Oh, Venice has a ton. So that's the downside of it. There's so many upsides living here, but there is a lot of homeless people in Venice. And they kind of like it that way. Like Venice has no real desire to change some of the grungy things about it and to change some of the, street art and some of this stuff and to change the homeless.
Yeah, that's crazy. I even saw I saw like three, it looked like three homeless guys, and then all of a sudden they grabbed their surfboards. I was like, they have
No
like homeless
way.
people. I thought that was awesome. Well, let me introduce you real quick. We have Austin, and do you pronounce your last name Netsley?
Netsley, yep.
Yep, Netsley. You're the founder and CEO. You're author and investor, a business growth advisor. You're the founder and CEO of 2X, a company specializing in helping 6- and 7-figure entrepreneurs get free from the day-to-day operations and grow their business faster than ever. You have a new book that's out, and on June 9th, it's going to be on Kindle, but I want you to share here in a second what you're going to do for our listeners. But the book's called From 6 to 7 figures. That's why I'm so excited to have you on, because I know I have a lot of small business leaders that are listening to me, and they're at that 6-figure range and they need to take it to that 7-figure. Austin is a former collegiate athlete, best-selling author. You've been featured in world's largest business websites such as Forbes, Entrepreneur, Inc., Yahoo, Business Insider, ABC, NBC, The Washington Post, and a lot more. Austin, can you tell us a little bit about your website? And then I want to get into how we take a 6-figure business to a 7-figure.
Absolutely. So yeah, you mentioned the book, and we are sending out a lot of copies right now. My mission is to get this into the hands of every business owner that I can. So if you're interested in a copy of From 6 to 7 Figures, you can go to scale2x.com/ABQ. That's not live right at the time of this recording, but it will be live here by tomorrow. So scale2x.com/ABQ. We'll have a special page set up. But we have been working with 6- and 7-figure business owners for years now, and really putting together the formula to help people scale. And by like what we focus on is primarily on systems and operations and having a great strategy, not just having these marketing tactics. So many people are out there talking about marketing tactics or sales or whatnot. We go back and make sure that we have a really healthy organization, one that is not dependent on your muscle and your hours and whatnot. If we can do that and create a really healthy organization, then when we start to talk about growth, it becomes easy, and you have the time, resources, energy, and you can start to get that traction. So what we've done here is map out the blueprint to go from 6 to 7 figures, because again, so many of our clients start with us at $20K a month or $40K a month or $60K a month, and within 90 days, most of them have more than doubled, and that's why our company name is 2X.
That's crazy. I was at a business the other day, and it was literally the business owner had bottlenecked himself. There was probably why we were trying to have a meeting. And this person had been in business for 20, 30 years, close to 7 figures, hasn't hit that. And I want you to talk to this. But there was probably 8 or 9 interruptions in our 20-minute meeting.
Wow.
And they were asking him questions that were like about orders, like really simple things. What are you seeing as far as business owners being reactive in their business?
Oh my gosh, it is so reactive right from the start of the day. Most people wake up and they turn on their phone, they check their email and check social media, and instantly they're in reactionary mode. But the best ones are free from the day-to-day operations. They can go on a 2-week vacation and not have to work at all. But a lot of people will go on a 2-week vacation and they'll be working pretty much the entire time, and they'll be stressed out even more than they were in their normal day-to-day situation. So what we've got to do is one by one, piece by piece, element by element, system by system. And I loved your intro here because you mentioned the word systems, and not a lot of people are talking about that. Systems will set you free. They'll drive some more repeatability, allow you to delegate, and ultimately make sure that you stay out of the weeds and stay out of the reactionary mode. So what we have done is definitely not only master systems, but one other thing that we do internally is we have a 72-hour rule. Nothing should be required within 72 hours because not only are most business owners reactionary, they're making their entire team reactionary. And then they're wondering why their team's not producing or not performing at a high level. It's because you're pointing them in so many different directions, right? So let's slow down. Let's plan ahead. Let's have a strategy and follow that strategy. Make things less chaotic, less reactive. And not only is your peace of mind going to go through the roof, but ultimately your business is going to start to go through the roof too.
I love that. And I love the word that you use when you say that they stay stuck.
Hmm.
I think that's really important because a lot of people, I feel like they have no momentum. They're just there, and they've been operating the business for years and years this way.
Yeah. Yeah. And until they change something, unfortunately, they're going to stay that way because so oftentimes, once we just get into that, it's so hard to break free. But then we have to go back. We have to think about, why did we even start in business to begin with, right? Most people start in business for freedom, to make an impact, to build some wealth and support their family, to make a good income, to have unlimited upside, to have this freedom. Yeah, how many entrepreneurs get any of those things, let alone all those things, right? So we've got to go back to the drawing board, and literally in the first part of the book, we talk about the step one is getting clear on your vision. It's like, what do you want? What do you want to create? Because then we can design the model and the business and the strategy and the approach around helping you get there. But most people just lose that, and we just get stuck in the motions. And fast forward a couple years, and we just aren't changing much of anything, and we've just created a job for ourselves, and that's what we've got to change.
Yeah, and I love how you say it. You say that it isn't a real business.
Yeah.
And that's like when you start thinking about that, it changes your viewpoint. And I love that you go into vision, but this to me, I think is one of the things that really caused me to look. You said scale doesn't happen if you don't get out of the day to day. What
Mm.
do you mean by scaling?
Most people want to scale their top line around the world for whatever reason. Revenue is the big thing that people talk about with their business, but really, a lot of people are in business to generate wealth and to generate cash and whatnot. So we've got to look at your profits as well. Scaling is taking your business to the next level for whatever that means for you. But most people come to us, they want to scale, first of all, their freedom and have a little bit more time to be able to spend with their family or to work on the business or at least do what they want to do. And number two is, again, people want to make more money. So whether that's revenue or profit or both, that's what we've got to do. So when we start working with 2X clients in our 90-day one-on-one program, what we do is we look at, hey, what can we cut out? Where can we simplify this business model? And then number two is we're looking at how can we inject some cash and just like what are some low-hanging fruit strategies that we can do to drive growth? And then number three, we're looking at, hey, how can we save this business owner 10, 20 hours a week, sometimes even more than that? Because if we give you an extra 20 hours a week and share, hey, here's a couple strategies that you can go and implement, it's easy to grow from there. But most people don't have those 10 or 20 hours a week. They're just trying to survive. So we've got to make those couple changes. And as soon as we do that, scaling starts to become pretty easy.
No, I love that on the third one that you have, save 10, 20 hours a week. I told a lady the other day with her business, I was like, what do you love to do? And she goes, I just don't have time, but I love going to my yoga class. And she was thinking now with COVID and everything and it being closed, she goes, I really love my yoga class. And I was like, why don't you own this business? Why do you have to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning? Do you see this all the time with when you're coaching business leaders?
Oh my gosh! Every day, every day. This is one of the biggest challenges that we help people solve because time is finite, right? The cool thing is everybody has the same amount of time. Everybody,
Right.
right? So we've got business owners that are doing let's say 5 million and working a few hours a week, and we've got others that are working 100-hour work weeks and taking home close to $0. So and everything in between. So it just really goes back to what's your vision? What do you want? Because a lot of people say that they want to, work 4 hours a week and whatnot. I've been there and I've done that, and that was cool for a while. But like, I like to work more because I like to make an impact and whatnot. So figure out what's ideal for you, and then again, like you said, design whatever you want. It's beautiful. You got this business thing. It's a tool. It's a vehicle to create that dream life. And again, most people forget that. So we've got to go back and really design things. But time is the constraint, and if we can solve that, the growth aspects and taking your business to the next level and improving it and whatever. There's every business owner that I've ever met. There's a lot of things that they want to do, but time is the constraint to stopping them from doing that. So if we can
Right.
create time, then we can easily start to do some of those things. So it's one of the most important things that you've got to do, and that's really what the book is primarily about. The tagline is simplify your business, gain your time back, and scale faster than ever. That goes right into the simplicity aspect and the time aspect to allow people to grow.
So when you're looking at businesses, and then over time, it's like a snowball of complexity. When you
Mhm.
when you talk about simplify, what are you looking at when you first start talking with the client?
A couple things right away. The first one is most people are targeting too broad of an audience. They are targeting potentially multiple different avatars, if you will, if you're familiar with that term.
Right.
It's just a little bit too broad. So we try to get really narrow on, hey, who's the ideal target audience, the ITA? And then the other thing that we quickly look at is all your products and offerings. A lot of people they have too many offerings, and they're actually losing money on some of those offerings, or at least spending an unproportionate amount of time on those things that aren't really moving the needle for them. So if we can cut their product offerings by, let's say, 40% and really get narrowed in on who our ideal target audience is, now not only do we have much more resources and capacity and focus on things that are going to move the needle in a better way, but we've got a much more clearer target audience that we're going to go after and get in front of, and that's going to allow us to have much more traction. So if we do those couple things, we've got more time, we've got more traction, we've got more money coming in. Now, again, we're growing pretty easily with less hours.
Yeah, I love that. And one of the things that you talk about, and I want if you can explain this a little bit more. You said the wealthy love leverage,
Hmm.
and every business owner should too. What do you
Yeah.
mean by leverage?
Leverage is something that can either work for you or against you, and a lot of people think about leverage as far as putting $1,000 down to get $10,000 or whatever. It can be a bad thing if you don't know what you're doing. But in business, every business owner should use different forms of leverage. We talk about the four forms here. Number one is data. And this sounds like it's not a real form of leverage, but trust me, most business owners do not know their numbers. They usually don't even know their financials. So if that's you, don't worry, you're not alone, but we've got to fix that because the numbers will show you the roadmap. They'll show you what's working, they'll show you what's not working. They'll take out the emotions and the stories and whatnot and say, here's the facts. And once you see the numbers, in your business in the form of numbers, you can see exactly where the gaps are, and you can use that to make better decisions. That's a form of leverage. So data and numbers, that's number one. Number two is your team. Having employees can be either the greatest source of leverage for you to get a lot more done, or for a lot of people, unfortunately, the case is it's the greatest source of frustration, right? Is because we don't set them up to succeed, or we don't hire well, and we're not giving them great feedback, and we're not supporting them, and they never quite get ahead, and they're never really performing. They're just costing us money and costing us frustration. That's unfortunately what a lot of people deal with their employees. But if you do it right and you set them up with the proper systems and you train them and you support them and you give them some good feedback, they're going to be able to get a lot more done than you're going to be able to get done yourself. So team is number two source of leverage. Number three is potentially my favorite, which is systems. And we talked about this just a little bit earlier, but if you have systems in place, and systems can be in the form of templates, it can be in the form of automation, it could be in the form of a checklist or a project management system, or an SOP. It could be in the form of a video process. And ultimately, what a system is a tool or mechanism to allow you to get more done more efficiently and be able to hand things off. Think of McDonald's. McDonald's has the systems in place that they can hire anybody off the street to make a Big Mac just as good as you or I or a chef, right? So that's your job as the leader, is to put the systems and infrastructure in place to set your team up so that they cannot fail. So systems are a beautiful form of leverage to allow you to get more done more effectively, and have much more consistently. consistency. So that's number 3 is systems. And then the fourth form of leverage is money. So once your business machine is in place and you're able to, let's say, start advertising, and you spend $10 and you get back $25, if you can do that consistently and repeatably, you're going to do that all day long. You're going to make that trade. So once you have the business machine in place, leveraging $1 to make two is a beautiful thing to do. The fact of the matter is, though, most people never get to that point where they have this business machine that's profitable and scalable. So that's why we've got to work through things in a particular order. And that's kind of what we break down in the book. Is a lot of people are trying to drive growth before they get some of these fundamental elements right. But if you follow the strategic order, you're going to get there much faster and get there much more profitably and get there much more consistently. Like, we don't want people to have a big spike and then go crashing back down, right? We want the consistency, and that just allows you to make better decisions, to make better investments, to have way less stress, yada, yada. It starts with that. So those are the 4 forms of leverage: the right data and numbers, the right team, systems, and then turning $1 into 2 using money.
Yeah, I love these. And when I looked at them, I envision like once they start working, I envision like a flywheel. It creates its own energy,
Mm-hmm.
and I could imagine, because so many people, all the systems as a business owner are in their head. They haven't took the time, and then they hire somebody, and then they wonder why that person doesn't get it. But
Yeah.
you came up with something that was amazing I never even thought of. And if you don't like to, because a lot of business owners don't want to take the time to sit there and write these long SOPs out, but you had mentioned something about video.
Yeah.
And I thought that that was really cool that you could sit there and, put a video together or like, I know you can record your screen about certain things that you're doing. That may be a way or an alternative that people can go. I thought that was really cool.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the cool thing is you're already doing all the work. Like, that's what
Right.
business owners, that's what we've got to realize. Like, you're already doing all the work. And you mentioned we've got the system in our head. You may realize it or not, but that system and the process that you need to follow is in your head. So we've got to get that out of your head and get it into a way that somebody else can follow. And that's what a system is. So one of the best tools that you can do and the best things that you can take away from this episode is to use a tool such as Loom, Loom.com. It's a
Right.
free tool to start. And if you're doing a task online, you just press record and you can record your screen and talk through, hey, here's what I'm doing and why. I click here and then I do this. And this is the type of message that I use. And this is it. And then somebody can take that and they could do it next time because you just guided them on literally the exact things to do. But also B, they could take that and turn that into a step-by-step with screenshots of exactly what to do. So if you have a virtual assistant, let's say, you can send it to your virtual assistant and have them turn this into a step-by-step that you just did. Now, as you're already doing all the work, you literally press record, it adds an extra
Right.
10 seconds and you're talking through what you're doing. And now you've got this system that you can hand off to somebody else that you never have to do that thing again. Right. And if you just continue to do this day after day, a couple things off your plate, after a matter of a couple weeks or a couple months, you've got an extra 30 hours a week that you can be spending however you want. Some of it to go to yoga, some of it to work on your business and take it to the next level, some of it to spend with your family, whatever it is. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and I love how you put the word freedom with systems, because we built this self-imposed business prison. But
Mhm.
if we would actually realize, and that's why I love that you use this word, if we'd actually realize us creating systems is going to free us from that self-imposed prison.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. And it's crazy once you get that feeling of creating a system and effectively delegating and it works. It's just like, holy cow. It's like this light bulb goes off and you get that sense of freedom and you get that sense of being an actual business owner, which is having a business run without the need for you to drive the results. Right. And it's just this beautiful, almost addicting thing that you're instantly like, okay, how do I get everything off my plate and just do these 2 things? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. And we've got about 10 minutes left, and I want to go through your growth pyramid.
Mhm.
And you won't scale past your mindset. And number one you have is mindset. Can we talk about mindset?
Absolutely. The mindset is just so crucial. It's in fact the first chapter in the book. If you don't have the proper mindset, you're going to be making the decisions or the compromises that are going to be really sabotaging your own success. So think of it as a thermostat. And different people have talked about this. There's an amazing book from T. Harv Eker where he talks a little bit about this, that you've got, like, we all, through society and through growing up and through our family and environment, we create this own thermostat from a mindset standpoint. And yes, there may be peaks above this, but ultimately your business is going to come back to your mindset. If we want to look at growing, we've got to take your mindset to the next level. And several things to support that are having a good morning routine. And different people have different morning routines. There's no one set, cut and dry, here's the morning routine to do. I've got mine, Jason, you may have yours, but starting your day with the right mentality and starting your day with good momentum and clarity, and having your morning be a success before you get into the blur of the rest of the day today, that's huge from a mindset standpoint. And it's huge from a confidence standpoint. And as the business owners, what we want to get, either you have momentum or you don't. And if you don't have it, your job is to get it. If you do have it, your job is to keep it. And the mindset is so important to get that momentum and whatnot. So starting your day fast, starting your day with the right mentality, using a morning routine and effective morning work strategy is really key. But then also we talked a little bit about the vision. If you have a really clear vision of where you want to be in the next 2, 3, 5 years, you know where you're going. As soon as these challenges pop up in the day to day, which guess what? They pop up for everybody in every business every day. But if you see this big vision, you can feel that, and you can almost touch it, and you know exactly where you're headed. When these small things come up, they're just that. They're small, and you just push them aside and you keep going. But if you don't have that vision and you're not clear on what you're going, every challenge that pops up, it's like the end of the world, and we stress ourselves out. So having a vision, having a great morning routine, and great morning work strategy, those two things are going to go a long way from your mindset standpoint. But then there's also things such as listening to this podcast and reading books and changing your environment and being in communities of the right people. But the mindset is really the thing that unlocks so much to help get you to the next level.
Yeah, I love that. And what do you when you look at like a work mindset? Like, okay, they're like, okay, I'm doing my yoga. I went to, I mean, we're in the desert here, but where you're at, I went to the beach, I did my morning walk, my head is clear, and then I hit the door in my business and I have 10 people waiting for me and, 30 pissed off customers. How do you maintain that mindset at the
Mhm.
workplace?
A great question. So the first thing is, before you get into any of that reactionary mode, before you check any messages, or maybe even before you get to the office or whatever, what we suggest doing is spending at least your first 2 hours on income producing, growth oriented, like business needle moving kind of activities.
That's
So
good.
if you do that, and some of the times that's creating systems. Some of the time that's hiring for a key role. Maybe that's a big marketing campaign. Maybe that's outreach for past leads or whatever. Whatever's going to move your business forward. If you do that every single day, by time the rest of your day starts, or by time you check your emails and client stuff and everything, your day is already a success. So we call it
Right.
our done by 10:30 strategy. Actually, we'll have a book coming out on this. It's one of our frameworks and trademarks. Is by 10:30 a.m., we like business owners to think, oh my gosh, my day was super successful already. And
Mhm.
then you still got the rest of the day however you want to spend. So if you can start your day by doing that, over time, you're going to be creating systems and solutions so that you don't have the problems that come up, whether it's cash or with your team or with the systems or with the clients or whatever. So start your day working on a really important thing, and over time, you'll have less and less stress. So do that, and it's tough to do because there's so many people that are pulling for your attention and whatnot. But set the boundaries with people. Communicate that, hey, I'm going to be unavailable from 8 to 10 a.m. But at 10 a.m. We can have our meeting. So basically, the structure that I use is I start my morning, pretty early, and I work from home. I got my office here, so I usually start between 5:30 and 6, and then I'll go until 9. I'll have a daily huddle with my team, a little 8-minute meeting at 9 a.m., and then I go and work out. And then I come back, and then I start to check the rest of my messages and whatnot. So I do deep work for at least 3 hours first to start my day, and then get into the team meetings and my workout and whatnot. So I have pretty much my day done by 9:30 a.m.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome because a lot of people feel like they can't get that deep work done,
Yeah.
and then but you doing the deep work and then going and working out and kind of giving yourself a break from that mental fatigue that you put yourself through for those hours.
Oh, it's huge. It's huge to do it that way because that time will never come where you're ready for deep work, right?
Mhm.
Or if you're exhausted. So if you can start your day that way, again, it just helps you build momentum, and it starts to. It's the best thing that you can do. I tell our clients, like, the best thing that I can do is not check any of their messages to our team, like, before, like, the morning starts. And now I don't manage our clients, and we've got several levels in between that, so I don't interact with them directly. But I still tell them the most impactful, the most selfless thing that I can do is be selfish and create a better, healthier business, one that's going to help them and help our company as well. And by doing so, you create this culture. Now, the rest of our leaders also start their day working on the deep work activity. So even if I wanted to go and distract them and pull them off something, they're in their deep work. And ultimately, again, that creates a much healthier organization if people can be doing deep work.
I love that. And so on your period, Austin, on your growth pyramid, you have number 2, which is operational machine.
Mhm. Yes. So what you've got to do is make sure that there's the consistency in place for every single part of the organization. The first place that we start is with great fulfillment, because if you have great fulfillment, what you ultimately have is happier customers. Happier customers buy more from you. They pay you more. They talk about you to their friends. They create the better success stories. They give you some great, testimonials. They send you those, again, referrals, and ultimately you just create a much healthier organization. So we look at turning every department, sales, marketing, and fulfillment, into a machine. But we start with fulfillment, because if we can do that, the business owner is free, the clients are happy, they're paying you more, we're driving more cash flow. Now, when we go and drive growth and improvements in the sales department, and we drive growth in marketing, now we've got something that's much better on the back end to be able to sustain that and be able to scale, so we can just have much more consistency and predictability. So if we can do that, then again, you're going to be a true business owner, and hopefully growing really nicely.
Yeah, and then the top of the pyramid is the growth engines, and
Yeah.
and you have the word plural for engines. What,
Yeah.
like, can you explain that?
Absolutely. So again, a lot of people think that they're ready for growth. I mean, we have companies that start with us at, even $5 and $15 million a year, and they're like, "All right, we're ready for growth. We don't need any of that basic stuff." And 100% of the time, we go back and make sure that they have the proper foundation, that they really have the right model and strategy, and that we're really building those things. Because when we get to the growth stuff, we won't get the best traction, we won't get the best ROI if we don't have some of that other stuff in place. So that's why we start with the mindset. Then we really focus on the operational machine for every department. Then we really start to drive growth. And from growth engine standpoint, what that means is basically marketing channels. And we like to have at least 3 to 5 repeatable, scalable, very controllable marketing channels that we know are going to be driving customers for us every single month. So for different businesses, those 3 to 5 will be really different. But what a lot of people do is they, like, just kind of spray and pray. They've got like 10 different marketing channels and strategies that are going on, and none of them are optimized. None of them, they really know the numbers very well. None of them are systems. So we've got to really just, like, focus just on a couple, and turn each one by one into a great, repeatable, scalable system, and one that doesn't need so much muscle from you. And if we do that, we're creating a really healthy organization where leads are going to be coming in and not be reliant on just one channel. So 3 to 5 is what we like to look for there, and turning them into systems is definitely what we like to look for there.
Yeah, and one of the things that you talk about, and I want you to talk a little bit about how people can, go on your website, your coaching, what you do, but you talk about that you want to have a very healthy, strong business, and that you have a mission of becoming the best in the world in this. What are you looking at when you're looking at taking on a business, and how, like, if there's a business that's interested in that now and they don't know whether they should get a hold of you or not, how could they do that?
Yeah, great question. So our company is called 2X, and our 90-day accelerator, or our 90-day program, is called the 2X Growth Accelerator. It's a one-on-one coaching program where every single week we're diving into your business to really understand what's going on, what are the key problems that you're having, what do we need to do to take your business to the next level to help you accomplish your goals. And sometimes people come in and they're like, "Hey, I'm working 60-hour weeks. The wife's not happy at home. I need some more time. So let's yes, we want to grow, but I'm really focused on getting that 60 hours down to 35." And we're like, okay, great. That's the goals. That's what we're going to focus on. Here's the strategy to get there. So we start by identifying what your goals are, what your vision is. Then we map out the strategy. Then every single week, we're diving into your business with you to help address the problems, to help address the things that are holding you back, and ultimately take your business to the next level. Our average six-figure client is or more than doubles in just 90 days. So if somebody's at,
Wow.
40K per month, in 90 days they're making 80K a month on average. So that's for the six-figure clients. Our seven-figure clients don't double on average in 90 days, but they grow. And our goal is to grow people's freedom and grow their business. So if we can do that, then we can create some great happy clients, and we do that. I don't know if you're familiar with the Net Promoter Score. It's a client satisfaction rating, but we have a Net Promoter Score of 90, which is absolutely unheard of. A world-class level is 70. So we've got something that works, and it's because we focus on these things that we're talking about here today, Jason, and we focus on things in the right order. So if we can get you free from the weeds, create some more time, have better cash flow into the business, simplify things down, have a much better business model and strategy. Now, once we get to start talking about sales and marketing, again, you're in a really good spot to be able to grow. So that's what we do. We work with 6 and 7-figure business owners all over the globe. Our coaches are proven 7 and 8-figure business owners themselves that are really effective at systems and operations and whatnot. So if you're interested, and if you're above $15,000 per month, that usually is the cutoff for companies that we work with on the bottom side. So if you're $15,000 a month or more, then we'd love to have you apply. And you can learn more at scale2x.com/apply. That's scale, the number 2, x.com/apply.
I love that, Austin, and I want to thank you first of all for being on the podcast. But mostly, I want to thank you for helping small businesses. We're realizing, especially in this time that we're going through, how important businesses are to our economy. One,
Yeah.
and number two, how important it is with our time and the focus that we have on being healthy. And that's your mission, is to have strong, healthy businesses, but also to allow business owners to be able to have that time that we were just in such a huge rat race before all this, basically exploded
Mhm.
on us with the pandemic. And I've been talking to so many business owners, and they're so excited that they were able to take a break. And they're like, I don't know if I want this to change or not.
Mhm.
I've been able to do this and do this. And this, to me, this is what your mission is. It's to be able to take back that time, grab that freedom,
Mhm.
and for them to be able to grow a company to where they've never even visioned where they could be at. So I just want to thank you for that, because businesses are what make our economy. These local businesses is what it's all about. So I appreciate
Mhm.
the work that you do. To me, it's almost spiritual in what you do, because it's this ability of the synergy of taking abundance and then creating it more and more. I just love it, and I hope everybody goes to scale2x.com. And if you said 15 grand or more, please apply. And especially, worst case scenario is you can go online, and we have, I think you said it was scale2x/ABQ.
Yep, scale2x.com/ABQ, and I'll send you a free copy of the book. We've got some hardcovers that are just getting to me, so super excited about that. And again, I think the book is going to be a really valuable tool to change the perspective and change the way that people look at their business, and go back to why they started in business. Those things that you just mentioned, Jason, the freedom and the family and the impact and everything that's really possible, because it's super cool, and we see it day in and day out. What is really possible, and what we talk about is there's a couple different levels. There's level 1, which is where people are at right now. Then there's level 2, which is the goals that they have, and then there's level 3, which is a level called potential. And that's what our job is to help you do, is to pass your goals and tap into that potential. And that just opens up this whole new world of opportunity and makes it so fun for what we do. So appreciate what you're doing too, my man. I mean, you're reaching business owners every single day. You got a lot of people that are looking at you for support. So love what you're doing. And if we can do it together, that's a beautiful thing. So appreciate you having me.
Well, perfect, Austin. Thank you. And I will talk to you. Stay safe. Hope you and your family are being safe there in Venice. And I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you for joining us on the Albuquerque Business Podcast. And thanks to our sponsor, RigbyDigital.com. Make sure to subscribe and share. And go to abqpodcast.com. Get show notes, resources, and links to everything we talked about today to help you navigate your journey as an entrepreneur and business owner.